Today I messed up by swimming in a Florida spring. When I close my eyes, I can still hear the screams. This was a few years ago. Took the family to Ginny Springs, a Florida water spot for a day of swimming and a little picnic. So as I was swimming in the crystal clear water, watching my son floundering around in his water wings, and just having a good old time, my son suddenly stopped, pointed at the water and said, "Look, Daddy, a lizard." I looked over and saw that no, it was not a lizard that was swimming over to us, it was a snake. After a quick examination, I realized that this was a water moccasin, and a large one at that, heading right for us. So yelling for my son to back away, I waded out to grab him and drag him back to shore. The snake was making a beeline for us, which is weird because most of the time they avoid human contact. I started to splash water at it, trying to slow it down enough so I could reach the shore before it got too close. So as I was backing up, slapping water at a poisonous snake with one hand and dragging a laughing child, who had no idea what was going on, with the other, I reached close enough to the shoreline to grab a branch that had fallen from a tree. It was long and pretty sturdy. It was perfect for what needed to be done. So as the snake got in close, I went all caveman on it and bashed it a dozen times with the branch. It worked. The snake started to float away, dead as a doornail. I then realized that all the people swimming around in this water would not take too kindly to bumping into a 4-foot dead moccasin, so using the branch, I launched the snake for a stretch of woods off to my right. Well, I guess the snake was not balanced right on the branch, and I was full of adrenaline, so instead of the woods, the snake flew high into the air, drifting off to the right where plop. It landed square on a picnic table. To make matters worse, it landed on a pile of shoes that a Girl Scout troop had left when they went wading in the water. "Oh crap," was all I could think, as I began to quickly swim across the spring to remove the snake from the table, but as I was swimming, I heard them. The giggles and laughter of little 12-year-old girls returning to get their shoes. I stopped cold. I was too late. I began to swim away, trying to hide myself as I saw the first curly-haired head approach the table. There was laughing, there was chatting and talking. Then there was a pause. And that is when the screaming started. If you have never heard a dozen 12-year-old girls scream in horror as they saw a large, bloody snake draped across their shoes, I cannot even begin to explain the sound. Even as I dove underwater, I heard the screaming. Sometimes. At night. I still hear the screams. Too long. Didn't read, killed a snake, launched it with a stick across a table filled with 12-year-old girls' shoes. The screams. They still echo in those woods to this very day. Today I messed up, telling my dad about the Karen meme. My family loves to overshare. This lack of filter sometimes has the tendency to get people into trouble because not all the information is provided, even when it's meant harmlessly. My parents are a bit older, prime okay, boomer age. I was talking to my dad the other day on the phone because his birthday dinner was a few days later. I asked how Mom was doing and he goes on to tell me a story how my mom and aunt, Karen, were at the store and the cashier made a mistake. My aunt went off on the cashier and asked to see the manager. My mom was mortified and tried to calm her down but she wasn't having it. I then mentioned to my dad, "That's such a Karen thing." He goes on to say, "Yeah, your aunt does that a lot." I tell him, "That's the funny part, the Karen meme is a real thing. It's when an entitled, typically white, woman gets angry at the smallest mistake and asks for the manager." My dad found this hilarious and I explain in more detail. I sent him a few links to sites explaining it online. He finds all of this hilarious and she even has the Karen hairstyle. This sends him down the Google Images rabbit hole and the next few days he sends me random memes of Karens doing Karen stuff adding "your aunt did this last week" or "I think this one is about your aunt." This leads up to his birthday dinner with extended family. My dad's birthday dinner is going well. Everyone is having a good time, good food, and drinks, etc. Suddenly my aunt, sitting a few seats down from me, leans forward and loudly shouts down the table, "Hey, my name, what's this whole thing about making a meme about me?" I respond, "Huh?" She then tells me my dad sent her all these memes about things she's done. He didn't give her the context that it's a generic meme from the internet and what it's about. Now, my aunt thinks I made all these memes about her real-life events. At this point, the entire family thinks I created this meme on the internet about my aunt's antics in public. There is a back and forth discussion about it being really rude of me. She's pulling a Karen and starts chewing me out. Meanwhile, I am looking at my dad like WTF, back me up here. My dad finally steps in to say that this is just a random viral internet thing and that I didn't make these up behind my aunt's back. Even after explaining, she's a bit irritated. It is apparent she is embarrassed that she is so much like a Karen and couldn't tell the difference between the stories online and her own encounters. Too long. Didn't read. I told my dad about the Karen meme because my aunt is named Karen and acts like a Karen. My dad sends my aunt memes he found. My aunt think I made them about her. She bring it up at my dad's birthday dinner and pulls a Karen on me.